fire that burned a family alive took place in an isolated cabin in the woods. 2 bodies were found calcinated on Sunday evening after 3 hikers.
The cabin factory is renowned for crafting hyper-realistic horror cabins for theme parks and movies. However, recent allegations claim these cabins may be truly haunted, raising concerns about their safety. Responding to these concerns, the factory now hires inspectors to examine each cabin, ensuring they are safe and free from anomalies. Players assume the role of Greta, an elderly woman employed as an inspector. With no direct human contact and with no training from real individuals, Greta receives instructions solely through automated recordings and telecom systems. She listens to the robotic voices outlining the terms and conditions. The recordings ominously state that Greta accepts all terms and conditions, which may change without notice.
In this elevator, you have accepted all the terms of your contract, which may be updated without notice.
Greta's first task begins as she arrives on the 8th floor of the factory, where a simple note instructs her to inspect each cabin. If the cabin appears haunted, she is to press the danger button and immediately leave. If the cabin is safe, she is to press the clear button. The note chillingly states, "Any movement means the cabin is haunted." With these cryptic instructions, Greta is left alone to face one of the most terrifying jobs of her life. The first cabin enters via a conveyor belt, accompanied by sounds and low ambient lighting that resemble a forest at night. Greta finds an unsettling scene inside. On the wall is a painting of a woman we'll refer to as Mother. There's also rustic furniture, an antique fireplace, and a wax figure of a man seated at a table, whom we'll dub the Father. Upstairs she finds another figure, a young boy with a cloth covering his face, seated stiffly on the floor. She'll name him Hansel. The cabin's early 1900 aesthetic hints at a connection to Hansel and Gretel. With nothing out of the ordinary, she clears the first cabin. The second cabin begins to unveil the terror. The wax figures previously still now move. The painting of the mother seems to watch Greta's every step. Hansel's legs twitch, and though the father remains stationary, his unsettling stillness feels like a calculated menace. Greta abandons the inspection, pressing the danger button and retreating. By the third cabin, Greta begins to uncover a dark backstory.
The brutal fire that burned a family alive took place in an isolated cabin in the woods. 2 bodies were found calcinated on Sunday evening after 3 hikers noticed a huge column of smoke and immediately called 911. When emergency crews arrived just minutes later, the flames were still burning. According to our sources, a family of 4 lived in the cabin, a mother, a father, and their 2 children. The police confirmed the bodies found on the scene belonged to the parents. The 2 children, a 10-year-old little girl and her 6-year-old brother, have not yet been found in the surrounding areas. The chief of the fire department announced the search operation will continue and said she has hopes of finding them alive. It is still unclear how the parents got trapped inside their own cabin, but the police have found clues that may indicate the fire was intentional. A criminal investigation is ongoing.
Years earlier, a fire consumed an isolated cabin in the woods. Emergency crews discovered the charred remains of 2 parents, but the bodies of their 2 children, a 10-year-old girl and her brother, were never found. Police suspected the fire was deliberate, with clues suggesting the parents had been trapped inside. In one cabin, Greta sees a vision of a girl, whispering, "We have to escape. Everything will be fine. We must leave." The words suggest the parents were abusive, and the children were plotting to run away. Another cabin reveals the horror of their lives. Seeing movement on one of the wax figures, Greta tries to escape, can't leave as Gretel is blocking the door. Greta is forced to explore the cabin for another exit. Descending into the basement, Greta finds a grotesque wax figure of the mother punishing Hansel, her face contorted into a monstrous grin. Greta, finding a nearby bathroom and walking inside, gets locked in the bathroom. As she looks into a mirror, and instead of seeing her elderly figure, she sees a 10-year-old girl staring back. There's also tally marks on the wall that hints at years of torment, with the children locked away in the basement as punishment. The truth unravels slowly. The children may have started the fire to escape their abusive parents. Greta's mounting fear shifts to a chilling realization. This is no ordinary inspection. The cabins are somehow tied to her past. Greta's reflection in the mirror confirms it. She's the girl from the tragedy, now grown, reliving the trauma of her childhood. The wax figure of her mother begins to move, chasing her upstairs. After narrowly escaping, Greta is thrust into a vivid reenactment of the fire. She sees her parents trapped inside, screaming as the flames consume them, while the children, Hansel and Gretel, stand outside, holding each other. Greta mulls over this horrifying memory. Her surroundings shift. Instead of being in the workplace, she is now surrounded by the ghost of her past in the middle of a dark forest. As Hansel and Gretel determine to escape, Gretel holding Hansel's hand as they watch the cabin burn. The shift ends, but Greta's torment doesn't. Returning home to a one-bedroom apartment, she opens her closet door, and there it is, the cabin. The same cabin she thought she had left behind all those years. It stands as a cruel reminder that she can never escape the trauma of her childhood. Greta shuts the door, hoping to block out the memories, but the cabin, an inescapable spectre haunting her mind. Even as an elderly woman, she remains trapped in the cycle of fear, unable to leave behind the horrors she once endured. Or she has finally left everything behind, hoping to start anew. The haunting story of the cabin factory raises chilling questions. Was the inspection a literal journey into haunted cabins, or were they projections of a trauma she has carried for decades? Either way, the line between memory and reality has blurred, leaving Greta and the player questioning what is real and what is imagined. That wraps up our video. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let's keep the discussion going. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.